Hey everyone, thanks for being here. My partner Daniel and I have doing a lot of digging into medical data for a project, and we want to share what we found about cholesterol. We are calling this keeping your heart highway clear. It sounds a bit like a construction project, but when you think about it, your blood vessels are basically the most important roads in your body. If they get blocked, everything stops.
Right. And the tricky thing is, most of us hear the word cholesterol and you think it's some bad thing in food. But it's actually more complicated than that. According to the American Heart Association, your body actually needs some cholesterol to build cells. The problem isn't the cholesterol itself, it's how it moves around. Think of lipoproteins as the delivery trucks. Since fat and blood don't mix well, kind of like oil and water, these little trucks carry the fat through your bloodstream to where it needs to go.
Yeah, the drug that you have probably heard the most about it is LDL or low density lipoprotein. The CDC usually calls this the bad cholesterol. Why? Because it's a messy delivery truck. It tends to leak and drop off its cargo along the walls of your arteries. Over time, the cargo, which is fat and plaque, builds up and makes the road narrower. This is the main cause of heart disease because eventually the blood just can't get it through.
But there's also a good drug called HDL, high density lipoprotein. Harvard Health describes HDL like a street sweeper or a vacuum cleaner. It drives around, picks up the extra fat that the LDL drugs drop, and holds it back to the liver so your body can get rid of it. If you have a lot of HDL, your highway stays much cleaner.
We also found out from Medellin Plus and the Cleveland Clinic that there are other things to watch, like VLDL and triglycerides. Triglycerides are basically the most common type of oral fat in your body, the stuff your body stores for energy. VLDL is another bad particle that carries those fats. When you have high triglycerides and high VLDL, they work together with the LDL to make your arteries really hard and stiff. This is a recipe for a heart attack.
This is the part that really surprised us. The Mayo Clinic points out that high cholesterol is almost always silent. You can't feel your arteries hardening. You don't get a fever or a headache when your LDL is high. Most people feel totally fine until a major event happens, like a heart attack or a stroke. That's why doctors are so pushy about blood tests. It's the only way to know what's actually happening inside.
Exactly. And isn't just about what you ate or for dinner last night. The last time published, the last time published a massive medical study showing that hair health is a long game. They found that keeping your LDL levels low for many years, literally decades, is what really protects you. It's not a quick fix. It's about keeping those roads clear over your whole life.
Since we know how dangerous it can be, we look into how to actually prevent these problems. The National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute, NHLBI, has a great plan called TLC Guide, which stands for Therapeutic Lifestyle Changes. It's basically a roadmap for your daily habits.
One of the coolest prevention tips we found out is about soluble fiber. You find this in things like oats, beans, and certain fruits. The NHLBI explains that fiber acts like a trap in your gut. When you eat fiber, it literally grabs onto the cholesterol in your digestive system and pulls it out of your body before it can even enter to your bloodstream. It's a natural way to lower your bad numbers.
Another big thing is watching the type of fats you eat. The FDA is very clear about trans fats. These are the double trouble of the food world. They actually raise your bad cholesterol and lower your good cholesterol. At the same time, checking food labels to avoid trans fats is one of the easiest ways to protect your heart highway.
We also wanted to mention that You shouldn't judge people just because they have high cholesterol. John Hopkins medicine explains that for a lot of people, it's actually genetics. Some people are born with a family history, and when their body just makes way too much LDL or isn't very good at cleaning it up.
For those people, even if they eat salads every day and run marathons, their numbers might still be high. That's why medical checkups are so important. Sometimes you need a little extra help from a doctor to manage what your DNA is doing.